Yo, right here in the small box. So, ladies and gentlemen, the hip-hop gambling epidemic. This is a big problem within the hip-hop space because it's not just advertising or influencer marketing or social media marketing that's happening in front of us. It's gotten to a point where it's getting into poly markets per se, or even prediction marketing gambling in a sense, right? So there's a lot of things going on with this right here. It's not just what you see at face value anymore. Of course, stake is the gateway, but with an addiction such as gambling, people are eventually going to find their ways into rooms they should not be in. And I feel like with this video by Get Like Prince, we're definitely going to explore that, so let's not waste no more time. Ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibe. You tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. Let's not waste no more time. Let's go ahead and dive in with the video, see what's going on, and get to the mess.
Over these past few years, gambling really has taken over all forms of media. Sports, hip-hop, even the weather. Look at some of these apps. People out here betting on what temperature is going to be outside. And as time will go on, this same problem came into hip-hop. Look at Offset. Borderline ruined his life because his gambling addiction got so bad. Drake, multi-million-dollar lawsuit with Adin Ross. They saying, look, you using online gambling money to inflate your streams. Every side of the internet has been affected by this gambling epidemic, and hip-hop just so happens to be a victim. Look at this article, for example, digging into the whole Drake, Adin Ross lawsuit. Basically, we go back a couple months. Drake and Adin Ross were throwing lawsuits, a lot of lawsuits, saying, look, y'all using this casino money to artificially inflate y'all sales. Drake and Adin Ross have been accused in a civil case of using online casino money to pay for automated streams in a bid to artificially inflate Drake's royalties and popularity on music streaming platforms. And they're pointing these fingers at stake. It's a stake. It's banned in dozens of countries, including the US, Australia, and the UK. And the American armed state does not allow users to gamble directly with real money. Wagers play with e-tokens. Some are provided for free, while others can be purchased and withdrawn as cryptocurrency. So basically, they can still gamble with United States currency. They just buy a coin. It doesn't work. But it says court documents allege Drake and Ross hid the finances from public view by transferring gambling winners via stake anonymized tip system to an Australian man named in the court documents as George Wynn, who allegedly operates the account's Grand Wizard chat nigga, akademiks chat dude. And we're gonna dive into this too. If you remember last month, the feds came knocking at Grand Wizard door. They basically throwing him even deeper into this lawsuit. And this isn't something that's about to go away. This gambling problem in hip hop, I feel like it's only gonna get worse with time. It says Wynn, who was posted promoting Drake and using the gambling platform, allegedly traded between the stake proceeds cryptocurrencies to pay bot vendors for artificial music streams on behalf of Drake and Adin Ross. The lawsuit alleges Drake transferred millions of dollars as part of the scheme. And two women out of Virginia, they would sue stake because, like I said, Drake is the biggest rapper in all of hip hop, and he's constantly pushing stake. He's constantly pushing gambling. Means what? He's pushing this onto his audience, whether old or young. It's 16-year-old boys, 16-year-old girls looking at Drake, seeing him post stake. Now they getting interest. They turn on their TV to watch the basketball game, and they see us. Oh yeah, bro.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is influential marketing using a very popular or familiar face to help push and encourage people into either purchasing an app, or in this case with gambling, make them gamble even at a young age. They be getting them around like 18, 19, gambling on their phones, thinking they playing little games, not realizing they putting up their real money. You can even get kids like 16 that be watching streamers. So you have Drake and Adin Ross together, and individuals that's fans of both of them, they're going to go get their parents' credit card and go crazy on that shit.
Come over the prize piece, bro. Put some money down. You're going to win. 16 years old. This is getting implanted into their mind, not just by one artist, but every single piece of media they consume is pushing gambling onto them. Drake, gambling. YouTubers, gambling. TV, gambling. Sports, gambling. Twitter, gambling. Everywhere you look, gambling is being pushed onto these people. And these two girls decided to point the finger directly at Drake. They say they suffered serious harm after Drake's promotion encouraged them to gamble on stake. The platform had financially harmed users by encouraging them to gamble illegally and leaving them vulnerable to addiction, the class action claim. A Missouri man in October brought up a similar case against Drake and Aiden Ross, which at the time Aiden Ross called some bullshit. Since 2022, Drake has promoted Stake on Instagram and Kick, including a post in June revealing he had gambled around $125 million and lost $8 million in a month. He would say, gotta share the other side of gambling. Losses are so fried right now. I hope I can post a big win for y'all soon. Whole time, nigga, you are intertwined with this company. If you ever wish payday came sooner, this
God, everybody got sponsors. Everybody got sponsors, bro. Get your money, gang. That's why we telling you to get married. She will definitely be your manager, bro. Come on, bro. I ain't going through this again. We're not going down that route. I ain't got no time for no females around here. I'm just keep it tall with you. But I'm actually surprised you're not on a schedule. It's the best time for it. Bruh, I be in pain half the day, bruh. Anyway, even look at this. So check this out. What was I gonna say? Isn't it interesting how when it comes down to gambling and how easy it is to rope people into gambling and the access that comes with it, even like what I said earlier, when it comes to access, even for like sponsors, a lot of sponsors, the easiest way to get a sponsor is through gambling. And people make their bread that way, not necessarily through people gambling, but through signups. You know, it's almost like an affiliate marketing kind of situation. But even then, that's another way to rope people into gambling, affiliate marketing. There's numerous different marketing methods that people can use that's going to rope people in to these little addictions. And these little addictions become big problems. So even then, is that not crazy?
I actually lost. This is you being very disingenuous. This is you getting online basically saying, look, y'all, I lose sometimes too, but hey, when I win and I win $10 million and I post it, y'all might think y'all can win this shit too. Whole time, you lost on purpose. You can't lose in this situation. Drake lost his money that went right back into his pocket realistically. You're too intertwined with this company. But Drake and Stake are one. Anytime a game go on, anytime it's a big sports event, you always seeing Drake posted. Drake has whole commercials with Stake. He has whole deals with them. Remember the drone when it crashed into Drake on the roof and it had Stake open on the computer? You think that was real? That was just an ad. They know what they're doing. But back to Akademiks chat, dude. For context, right? The Akademiks TV account is a Twitter page that posts nothing but BS. If any artist, any person, anybody on the internet says anything negative about Akademiks, they will get on Twitter and engagement farm with this artist's name, whether if it's true or not. Akademiks gets mad at somebody, Akademiks TV will get online and they will spread slander. Like I said, doesn't matter if it's true. They're gonna and tell a whole lot that's not even the truth, or tell the truth but misword it, make it look worse than what it actually is. And that's basically what this account is, just malicious, okay? And Grand Wizard chat, nigga. George Wynn ain't just a Twitter page runner. Like you heard, he has a part to play in this lawsuit. He has a big part to play in the gambling epidemic in hip hop. Wynn was recently served legal paperwork in Australia, according to reports. Several people have circulated photos that allegedly show him being served documents tied to multiple lawsuits. None of these allegations have been proven in court, but they are heading that way. The complaint claims Drake, Aiden Ross, Akademiks, and Wynn allegedly worked together with Stake's help to use the gambling platform to discreetly move money around. Moreover, they financed fraudulent music buying, and the lawsuit also alleges that it was Drake's goal to inflate his streams, boost his notoriety, and influence recommendation algorithms against competitors and pull New Jersey residents into what the complaint calls an unlicensed online gambling platform. For one, George Wynn, Grand Wizard chat nigga, he not even black. He's Grand Wizard though. That's what you go by. Grand Wizard has been around for a very long time. Like, this isn't a new character. This is somebody that's been tied into Akademiks for years. I remember years ago, old Akademiks stream, Grand Wizard was a part of that. He was running meme accounts. This isn't a random, but I'm not here to dig into that. We're talking about this gambling epidemic. The irony of this is for Drake to be named in an artificial botting lawsuit, getting put in his RICO basically, is so ironic coming from the fact that he was the main one saying Kendrick was botting not like us. He had all these lawsuits going on saying, bro, Kendrick not really this big. Kendrick had bots push this song. Kendrick paid YouTubers.
Boy, let me tell you something. Don't it come full circle? Does it not come full circle, bro? Let's keep it tall. Can we all sit here and just agree? Don't it come full circle? It come right back on themselves, man. I'm telling you. They want to sit there and talk about, oh, It's him that's been botting this whole time. But let me gamble and get this shit though. My nigga. It's right under y'all eyes, bro. Right under y'all noses. They really playing in y'all face. This is why I do what I do. I don't like people playing in my face, bro. That's crazy. They doing it to themselves, man. I'm telling you. They be their own downfall. You out here trying to go this way. Meanwhile, everybody else going this way. Bruh, it's getting to a point where the methods are a little too obvious. And the fact that it's obvious, it gets concerning. It's gotta stop, bro, because it's stupid. I'm telling you, bro. Full circle, bro. Come on, say it again.
For years. I remember this isn't a random, but then an artificial botting lawsuit getting put in his RICO basically. It's so ironic coming from the fact that he was the main one saying Kendrick was botting not like us. He had all these lawsuits going on saying, bro, Kendrick not really this big. Kendrick had bots push this song. Kendrick paid YouTubers to do this. Kendrick paid this person and that person to push his narrative whole time. You was inflating your own shit with gambling money. That's real ironic. That's real ironic. But like I said, this gambling problem isn't just hip hop. This is more than music. This is bigger than Drake. This is bigger than academics. It's bigger than everybody. Because gambling is a thing we see ruin lives. People young, people old, people get addicted to gambling and throw away all of their money, all their life savings. And with gambling being pushed as much as it is right now, everybody's eyes are on it. Meaning so many of these children who otherwise wouldn't have had this put in front of them are now.
So keep this in mind. Aside from security, I also work retail, right? So check this out. When I work retail, I work with a very wide age range of individuals. Some people older than me, some people younger than me. Regardless if it's older, this is what's interesting that I see when people interact when they're gambling. So we have some managers that do gamble at the place that I work at. Of course, I'm not going to name it. I'm not going to talk about anybody like that because that is not my place, but I'm just sharing an experience that I have witnessed. So let me just go ahead and get that clear. And let's also not forget this video is strictly for entertainment purposes. As you can see from the big box over there at the bottom, the run along text, that's going to let you know that this is strictly for entertainment purposes. So for everything that I'm saying, it's pretty much fiction, but it's good fiction. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and continue. So I've seen this interaction, right? Interaction. You have some of the older, or one of the older managers. They're actually talking with the younger, like, employees about the bets that they place. And they're talking about, yo, what's your bet? What does it look like? What team you betting on? What do you think the stats are? Like, they're looking up statistics. They're looking up history. They're looking up anything and everything to go ahead and place their bets. It's gotten crazy to a point where you see some people sit there and talk about, yo, I'm in a hole right now. I lost way too much money betting. And I'm trying to get my money back. One individual that I talked to, they said that they lost around $5,000 money that they had in their savings. And now they got to work to get it back. So now they got to work all these extra shifts, pick up extra jobs on the side to make their $5,000 back. Look how fast they got rid of it. And now look at all the work they got to do to get it back. Just like that. All through gambling. Big, nasty addiction. That's a problem. That is a big goddamn problem right there, bruh. And when you hear the age on these individuals, let's just give you a quick demographic for the audience that I'm specifying. So let's just say the age range demographic is from 19 to 35. That's a healthy age range. Is it 19 exactly? No. Is it 35 exactly? No. But on average, it falls in that age range. So that's a little food for thought for everybody at this point. All right? But let's keep going.
Wanting to bet all the time. Every time their favorite sports team play, they go to the game, they watching the game, they betting all their money on it. They losing
Brother,
most of the
if
time.
I lost
but hey, they get that
$10,
one
I'll be
win,
sick.
and now it's like, okay, I won this once, I go in again, That's why I never got into gambling. That's one thing I would never partake in because be getting addicted. The man on TikTok who goes by the name Dr. Dan Pediatrician, he would make a video talking about this. He was like, I feel like the next big addiction for this new generation isn't the vapes, ain't no weed, ain't no cigarettes. It'll be gambling because of how it's pushed.
Well, I know what the next big addiction is going to be. Don't believe me? Want to bet? When I see teenagers, I usually talk to them all the time about things like vaping and smoking. But the new one, I started learning when I was watching the World Cup. You ever notice the commercials on sporting events? You know, every 4 minutes there's a betting commercial that comes on. It's not just about sports betting. It's about poly marketing, Kalshi, and these prediction markets, all these things that parents don't really know about. But your teenagers do. And they're using their own money to find this out. And they're experimenting. And the companies know this, and so they're attacking those kids at the most vulnerable part of their lives. They're impulsive. Their prefrontal cortex aren't.
He's not lying. Their brains aren't even developed yet. They don't even comprehend life for real. These people 16, 17 years old, they still trying to figure out, damn, I got a test tomorrow, bro. I gotta figure out what I'm about to eat at lunch. Like, nigga, they should not be having gambling pushed in front of them. They ain't even lived a life yet. The way gambling is being pushed is not, it's just a recipe for disaster.
And then they're going to get locked into these evil businesses that are not just going to destroy them financially, but they destroy families. You have kids hiding, trying to find ways of finding enjoyment. In the end, they're causing themselves damage that could be irreparable. If you don't think it's happening in your house, be mindful. You're taking a big gamble not paying attention to it.
I ain't gonna lie, you gotta listen to what Mr. Dr. Dan's saying because he is talking that shit. How many people do you know in real life that bet? That sports bet, that bet on competitive video games, that bet on UFC fights, that shit, even be in prediction markets. I guarantee you it.
UFC fights especially. Gambling for UFC fights go way back, if I'm going to be super honest. So it's not even a surprise that I hear that.
You would know at least 5 people that is into gambling. Whether they go to the casino for real, whether they go and go play poker, you know somebody that gamble. And that shit is kind of crazy. And with the way it's being pushed now, it'll only get worse. I guarantee you it will only get worse. You probably 5 years from now, you got a kid, you gonna be like, yo, what you got going on? Shit, nigga, I'm gambling, bro. I'm putting money down on this game right now. You get what I'm saying? Don't even get me started on the prediction markets. Past the gambling on sports and playing dice or whatever. People are out here putting predictions down on dumb shit. Like, I just don't understand the concept behind this. People's putting predictions down on, is GTA gonna get delayed? Oh, bet high or low. Is this album gonna come out on this day? Bet high or low. Is this album gonna have this feature from this specific artist? Bet high or low. Is this album dropping? Like, nigga, people are just betting on things that shouldn't be bet on, and you know what it does? Makes the problem worse.
One of the problems in our economy right now is that we have found ways, especially my friends in the tech business, have found ways to build enterprises that basically effectively monetize humanity's deepest vulnerabilities. take prediction markets, right?
Yes.
Kalshi, Polymarket, this stuff. These things are worth jillions today, but these are abominations, right? These businesses should not exist. They do not solve human problems. They create problems.
Yeah.
And they're certainly going to be terrible for the people who use them, because most people will lose. Because all they are...
Not most, majority. Majority of people are going to lose their money. These things are designed to take your money. If you're lucky enough, you're definitely going to have a blessing. You're definitely going to have a moment of clarity. Okay? But let me just go ahead and let you know, dream for that, because it doesn't come. I promise you it doesn't come. You know? So it's actually quite interesting that we explore this, because it's a bigger problem than people realize. And even if we watch this video, the problem is far worse than what it is right now. It's almost like we late to the party because the party already done left. They on their journey going around the world just ruining everybody's lives. You know, so it's wild to witness.
All this is legalized gambling, right? That's all.
That's what I called it. That's what I call it.
It's a casino online.
It's a casino to bet on nothing. Like he said, it just makes the problem worse. I keep saying it, but you really ought to understand what he put it down. Gambling will ruin not just hip hop, but really all aspects of life. People bet on anything.
betting on roulette, you're not corrupting anything outside of that casino.
Mhm.
But if you're making a micro bet on a sports event or betting on war or whatever it is, the knock-on effects of that on those institutions outside of the betting market are terrible, right? You're creating enormous incentives for cheating, for corruption, for all sorts.
And that's the thing with something like this. This conversation isn't something we seen new, but it's a problem that we've seen get worse. If you go back time machine 2016, 17, 18, what was a really big trend we seen in a lot of video games? Look at Call of Duty. You go to Advanced Warfare, what did they add? They had loot boxes.
Oh my God. They would add loot boxes, they would add booster packs, they would have like platinum premium packs. They would have these little like what's it called? Like lockers, closets, however you want to describe it, it's all the same because it's all loot boxes. And then you would have a certain currency that's tied to the loot box. And the idea to have this currency is you don't want to pay, because if you pay, that's money gone. And then you're doing a roulette to see, oh, am I going to get the thing that I want? Fortunately for a lot of these games, when it comes to the specific currency, there are ways to get it for free. So a lot of people, what they do is that they would stack that so that they can make purchases for exotic platinum or just premium items they wouldn't really get from like regular packs or regular like earnings, right? So it's kind of interesting. Like people really put up their money just to do a little roulette to see if they can get a god roll, to see if they can get an S tier roll, or they just end up with like a green or blue roll.
You spin this loot box and you have a chance to get this good gun, or you have a chance to get this nice looking cosmetic, right? Or you go to Overwatch 2016, they had loot boxes where you can either pay your real money or you could sit here and unlock loot boxes from playing a game and gamble for skins or gamble for this or gamble for that. And at that point, it was bad. They were like, damn, we're kind of normalizing gambling to these children. These kids are our audience to these games. We'll release these games with these gambling mechanics. Don't matter how you want to spin it. Loot boxes and shit like that in video games are gambling, which is why I got to a point in time where countries ban these type of loot boxes in games. They ban and put regulations in place for how these loot boxes could work in these video games. There's a problem that will come into hip hop. Now, look, I'm not telling you how it's going to be done, but there will be a time where gambling will take over hip hop. Something similar to this concept will be placed here. But outside of all of these other problems, even within hip hop, we see gambling affect these artists. Offset, he has had a long-term gambling problem. For a long time, we knew Offset liked to gamble, but we didn't know how much he liked to gamble until over these past few years when we had Selena Powell talking about it. We found out he owed all this money to the IRS. We're finding out that he got shot at the casino, and then as he's in a wheelchair, healing from getting shot, he's in the casino wheelchair. We see this happening in real time with these artists.
While Offset was taking a smoke break outside of the hospital in his gown and wheelchair, folks took to the streets of social media and started talking about the money that he allegedly owes them. Ebro claimed the rapper owed him $5,000, but then he later circled back to apologize. Des Bryant claims Offset owes him $8,000 and actually hit him up a few hours before he got shot to ask him if he was down for a money play. Now the Motor City Casino in Detroit is suing Offset for $100,000 over an unpaid debt. But on Friday, Offset took to the streets of Instagram and released the following statement. Thank you to everyone who checked in on me and showed me love. I'm good, but I'm planning to do better. I'm focused on my family, my recovery, and getting back to music, realizing that life is made of quiet wins and loud losses. And then he said, life's a gamble and I'm still playing to win.
Crazy.
And remember, I said this has been a long-term conversation. Before what she just spoke about, if you go back to last year, 2025, early 2025, what happened? Him and Lil TJ sparked up this whole beef that led to him getting shot over what? Gambling. TJ came out, he's like, look, bro, I gave Offset some money. Offset didn't pay me back. TJ mad about this money because he's like, bro, I gave it to you because you was trying to gamble. You didn't have it to gamble, so I gave it to you, which is crazy. Offset, Migos member, one of the most pivotal figures in modern day hip hop, in modern day culture, didn't have money.
But honestly, if I'm going to be critical about this situation, they're getting these individuals through their emotions. When you play with people's emotions, you can use them puppet strings to make them do what they want. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's gotten that bad. That's how dire this situation is. That's the point that we at right now. All right, let's just go ahead and let's just talk about it. Because that's a big goddamn problem, bruh. Let's be real with it, man. It's a big problem. They're manipulating people through their emotions to try and convince them, yo, have you ever tried this before? You ever done this before? That's my own personal opinion. Of course, there's a lot of different levels that have to be explained, but just to take it at face value, the idea is to get them when they weak. That's the idea of all this. So it doesn't come as a surprise. It's the same with NBA 2K when it comes to my team. Don't even get me started.
Money to hit the casino, that's a problem. Even Lil Baby at one point said his gambling addiction got so bad to the point where he had to ban himself from all casinos. He said he had Marco Rubin call all these casinos and call all these people and say, look, Lil Baby cannot come in here. I want you to hear how much money he lost while he was at the casino.
How much?
What's the most you ever lost gambling at once?
$8 million.
What?
Okay.
1 day.
How long?
Like 1 day. Like probably like 40 hours.
Yeah.
40 hours straight. I lost like 8.
Nigga, that's not 1 day. 40 hours is not 1 day, bro. That's like a day and a half, man. What are you talking? You know, you put up the numbers, but you don't know what the numbers mean.
Million.
That's not
9 million.
That's not one.
I made myself stop gambling. Like I had Mike Rubin write a letter to every casino and ban me from the casino. Because I just do shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't gamble no more.
Okay.
My point exactly. That gambling shit get too critical. Lil Baby, multi-million-dollar artist. He has so much money, and he talking about I lost 8 million. Think about how exponentially that shit could grow. If Lil Baby is at a point where he got this much money, he throwing 8 million. Imagine people who don't got money like that. They throwing half their life savings away trying to hit the casino.
You understand what I can do with $8 million? I can change my life with $8 million. I can change my family life with $8 million. Y'all throwing the money away. Throw it my way. The hell's wrong with these dudes, bro? You want to throw money away so bad? Just give it to me. I know damn well what to do with that much money, bro. We about to invest. Huh? We investing. Since you clearly don't want to do it, let me do it. Swing the money my way. I watch how I do better. What the fuck?
Casino trying to get $1. Point is, I think more gambling regulations should be put in place. This shit should not be so easily promotable. It shouldn't be this easily acceptable, because if you're a grown man and you want to gamble and ruin your life, okay, that's one thing. But pushing this narrative onto kids whose brain ain't even developed yet, who ain't even got a chance to live life and make no money for real, and then you already, throwing this in front of them, it's a recipe for disaster.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, ain't it crazy? You on my team? What's good, Big? What's good, Big Heck? How you feeling? What's good, Sarah? You came back from Koala? Shout out. Koala's done already? Because I seen he went live again. But this gambling epidemic is more serious than people realize. It's gotten to a point where it's affecting a lot of ages. This usually happens with adults, but it's happening with teenagers. Teenagers are not even supposed to be gambling, first of all. But of course, a lot of these companies are going to mask it as something else. So it's like they're assuming it's going this way when in reality, they're still gambling. Low key, depending on where they live, that's illegal. That's why I'm not surprised where these things are starting to get banned around the world. But just looking at Offset, looking at Drake's situation, it's not good. It's not good. When you look at these pilot markets, there's prediction gambling or prediction marketing situation. It's a big goddamn problem. Let's keep it tall. It's a big goddamn problem. It's getting to a point where something's got to change. There's so many different things affecting everyone's lives that is not positive, and it's running around and ruining lives. Gambling alone. Look how gambling got into music. Look how gambling got into hip-hop. Can we just stop there at that avenue and just explore? Gambling got into hip-hop? Really? Poly markets, call sheet, prediction marketing, prediction gambling. Serious. That's where we're at right now. So instead of listening to the music, you'd rather gamble and see which song is going to be successful and which one's not. And then here's the magical part, because we talked about this before. They will put down the prediction, and what they do is that they will bot whatever song that they're predicting on to make sure that it's the winning song so that they can win the pot they're in. So it's gambling and botting. Gambling and botting. That's what's happening right now in music. When you gamble, you can bot, because based on Drake's Rico, they're using the tips that they get from gambling. And because they cannot be tracked, those can be used to technically or allegedly bot someone's music. We're not going to say who, but it's pretty obvious, right? That's where we're at right now. Koala's brain was broken earlier because he couldn't wrap his brain around the XXL freshman saying something about upside down L's being sevens. Koala is going to be counting sevens and L's instead of the sheep tonight. That's crazy. That's a really weird way to gamble, but that's how far the addiction has gotten. Just think about that. The addiction has gotten so bad, that's where it's at this point. So now the real question is, how can we solve for X? How can we kick this addiction, knowing that you're getting these kids addicted at a young age? They're not even in college yet and they're gambling. They're in college going broke, spending money on tuition, trying to see if they can double it. And then they lose their money. And now they can't finish their goddamn program. Let's talk about that for a second. They gambling, they paycheck, knowing that they need their paycheck to buy groceries and buy the things, the necessities that they need so they can live on planet Earth and not go broke. Let's talk about that. Gambling has ruined these individuals, and that's really sad. Oh, yeah, Sarah, I'm not surprised at all. That's the lifestyle they want to live. So it's not a surprise that that's what they want to do, right? Don't kill me. But that's what's going on right now. That's the gambling epidemic that's happening within hip hop, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. So at this point, how do we just get rid of it? Like, the only way is just like ignore it. But the people that are already in it, they can't let it go because that's their new addiction. It's like we living in a digital crack era. That's where we're at right now. A digital crack era. Ain't that not crazy? That's wild. That is absolutely wild. So shout out Get Like Prince. I appreciate you for the video. This is definitely good content. So at this point, all I can say is story developing, bro. This ain't over. This ain't done. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, it is what it is.